Good morning, class 3 students. Today, let us study in chapter 4 India Physical Features Part 2. In today's part, we are going to study about the northern plain of India, the Great Indian Desert, the Peninsular Plateau, the coastal plains, and the islands. These are the topics we are going to study today. First of all, let us study the northern plains. The northern plains lie below the northern mountains. The main rivers that flow through this region are the Satluj, the Ganga, and the Brahmaputra. Being fed by the snow and ice of the mountains, these rivers always have water in them. So we have already seen the northern plains lie below the northern mountains, northern Himalayan mountains like Shivalik, Himadri and Himachal. And the rivers which originate from these mountain ranges have water throughout the year. By melting ice and because of the rainfall, there will be water throughout the year in these rivers. Now, let us study some features of the northern plains. Northern plains is so rich with huge deposits of silt brought down by the Himalayan rivers. And this is one of the largest and most fertile plains in the world. Here, varieties of crops are grown like rice, wheat, barley, such kinds of crops. And a large number of people live here as the land is so flat. Here, people are able to easily live to look after their crops, and also because of the availability of water from the rivers, people are able to make settlements here easily. And summer is very hot in this region and winter is very cold. These are the specialities of northern plains. Now, let us study about the Great Indian Desert. The northwestern part of India has a vast stretch of land covered with sand. Such areas are called desert. This area in India is known as the Thar Desert or the Great Indian Desert. It occupies a large area of Rajasthan. As we know, a desert area is very wide, and also nothing can be grown here except some bushes like cactus and all. And the Indian desert is spread mainly over Rajasthan, and some portions of this desert can be seen in Punjab and also in Gujarat area. Here, availability of water will be very less and climate will be very hot. Now let us see few specialities of desert. Desert region receives very little rainfall, and because of that this region is always very dry and not many plants can be grown here. Here plants and trees are very less because of the lack of water. Here availability of rainfall is very less. Summer seasons Summers are very hot. Summer season is very hot and winters are very harsh and cold. Here people mainly depend camel, and camel is known as ship of the desert because people wanted to move from one place to another place with their goods, and for carrying people and goods they depend camel, and that's why camel is known as ship of the desert. So camel carries people and goods across the desert. These are the specialties of desert region. Now let us see the topic, the Peninsular Plateau. Look at this map. Here you can see Peninsular Plateau region clearly. The Peninsular Plateau covers a large part of India, especially South Indian region known as Peninsular Plateau region. It is triangular in shape. You can see triangular shape here. It is called the Peninsular Plateau because it covers almost the whole of peninsular India. See, Peninsular India, that is South Indian region totally covered, and this region is known as Peninsular India only because of the reason is that three sides of this region covered with water bodies. In the southwest, Arabian Sea, southeast, Bay of Bengal, and South Indian Ocean. All these three water bodies are found on the three sides of this region. That's why this region is known as Peninsular India. Now, let us study the features of Peninsular Plateau. Peninsular Plateau bordered by the Bay of Bengal in the east, the Arabian Sea in the west, especially southwest and southeast, the Indian Ocean in the south. These are the three water bodies bordered in this Peninsular Plateau. And here the land is so rocky and hard. Many hill ranges are also present here. The Peninsular Plateau's southwestern region known as Western Ghat and its southeastern region known as Eastern Ghats. These are hill ranges. Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats are hill ranges. Many rivers are also flowing through this region. These rivers are Narmada, Tappi, Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, and Kaveri. Out of all these rivers, only two rivers are flowing west into Arabian Sea, all the others are flowing into the Bay of Bengal. Narmada and Tappi are flowing into Arabian Sea and all the other rivers are flowing into Bay of Bengal. And these rivers are rain-fed. That means mainly depends on rainfall. And because of that, these rivers are called seasonal rivers. There will be water only during rainy season in these rivers. In all the other season, most of the areas will be dry. Most of these rivers will be dried. And during rainy season, there will be sufficient water in these rivers. Now, let us study about the coastal plains. We have two coastal plains, western coastal plains and the eastern coastal plains. The narrow strips of flat lands that are situated next to the sea on either side of the peninsular plateau are called the coastal plains. The coastal plain that lies between the eastern Ghats and the Bay of Bengal is known as the eastern coastal plain. So the coastal plain between eastern Ghat and the Bay of Bengal known as eastern coastal plain, and the coastal plain between Arabian Sea and the western Ghat known as western coastal plain. These are the two coastal plains we have. And western coastal plain again further can be divided into three sections. The northernmost section, that means Gujarat to Goa, that region is known as Konkan plain. And Goa to Karnataka, that area is known as Kannad plain. And Karnataka to Kerala known as Malabar coast. Eastern coastal plain also divided into two sections. The northernmost section known as Northern Sirkar and southern portion known as Coromandel coast. These are the different sections of eastern and western coastal plains. Now, let us study the specialities of the coastal plains. The eastern coastal plain is broader than the western coastal plain. The coastal plains are rich in minerals. They have neither too hot nor too cold climate. Since coastal plain region is nearby the sea, these areas have not too much cold, not too much hot climate. A moderate climate will be there in the coastal plain region. Now, let us study the last topic of this chapter, the islands. Look at this map. You can see in the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal two groups of islands. In the Arabian Sea, you can see Lakshadweep Islands, and in the Bay of Bengal, you can see Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Our country has two groups of islands, the Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Lakshadweep Islands. Andaman Islands are around 500 islands are there in the Andaman and Nicobar Island region. And the Lakshadweep, 36 islands are only there. And the capital of Lakshadweep is Kavaratti, and the capital of Andaman and Nicobar Islands is Kavaratti. Now, let us study the features of the islands. The Andaman and Nicobar Islands are in the Bay of Bengal in the east. As you have seen on the map, the Andaman and Nicobar Islands are in the Bay of Bengal in the east. The Lakshadweep Islands are in the Arabian Sea in the west. The climate in this island region is very humid and warm. There are low hills and beaches, which are popular tourist destinations. Large number of people visit both Andaman and Lakshadweep Islands to enjoy the scenic beauty of these regions. So there are 36 islands in Lakshadweep and more than 500 islands in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The capital of Lakshadweep is Kavaratti and the capital of Andaman and Nicobar Islands is Port Blair. These are the features of these island groups of India. Thank you.